Hey everybody, I wanted to talk about the project real quick. I know I sent out this project prompt and this newsletter and a project template, but opening it up in the text editor, kind of just staring at the page, it can be intimidating. So I wanted to talk about how to get started, how to think about this site that you're going to make down the line, how to plan for it. There's a million considerations. It's just kind of overwhelming to get actually started. So I pulled up this website, madebyno.com. I chose this website to show because I think it's really representative of a simple website that gets it right. It does not too much, but it does what it needs to and then stops. So let's just look at this for a second, right? There's this logo at the top left, some nav bar links at the top right. There's some header text, a background image. There's this portfolio section where they're showing off some of their past work, and a footer. This footer has the logo again, some social media links, and a little humorous made with poop in Brooklyn bit of text to show off a little personality. So this is the home page, right? This is it. I'm scrolling the entire thing. But it achieves the goal. And I imagine so if you go here, I browsed around the site a little bit before, and this is the website of this woman, Erin Nolan. Erin's goal with this site is presumably tell you what she's capable of, demonstrate with her portfolio that she's not just talk, that she's actually done professional work, and then, it gives you a prompt here, like what you see, I'm accepting projects this spring. And if you click this, it goes to the contact page. And then there's just a footer to hide some useful information in a very succinct and compact way. So just look at this for a second. I think it would be a very viable approach, honestly, to just copy this straight up. And I don't mean to, steal from Erin Nolan, but this formula is tried and true. If you visit many of the modern websites these days, they follow this formula. I don't want to promote, but my company's website uses this exact thing. Back when I was freelancing, my business's website used this exact same formula. And it's not because we're unoriginal, right? It's because it works. It's common enough so visitors to your site know where to look. And it's not so much restrictive as it is structured. So if you think about just copying this site straight up, how might you do that? And I want everyone to kind of think about it from the ground up, right? So you might want to dive in and just start coding things, but the end result of that approach is you're going to spend 2.5 days, you're going to build kind of this slapped together mess, and it'll look nice, but it'll lack that cohesiveness. And when you go to other people's sites, you'll notice that it looks just better somehow. This was a very common mistake for beginners. It was for me as well. And, if you just browse any web development forum, you'll see kind of what I mean. It's very common and it's very tempting to jump right into it. And I know it's exciting, but I'm asking you to please suppress that urge and think about it like a true web development professional, right? Think about how you might copy this site. Let's actually look into the source code a little bit for some actual concrete information, so it's not just me talking. So I opened up Chrome Developers Tools, and you'll notice we're looking at this Made by No logo right here, right? So if you see here, it says Made by No. And if we look down here, we can see some of the CSS properties that have been applied to this HTML element. You can ignore all this other stuff for now. Just focus on this one line, right? If we scroll down to look at the CSS properties, there's this font family thing, and we can see that the font that they chose for this logo is called Freight Sans Pro. So that's one font that they chose. Let's look at this next one. It's an H1 tag with a bunch of classes. And if we expand the HTML element, sure enough, we can see Made by No is a blah, blah, blah. We can see this text here, right? So if we observe this element again in the dev tools and go down, we can see that the font family here is called FF Meta Serif Web Pro, right? And to prove it, if I delete that, the font changes, right? So put it back. So right up, straight off the bat, we have two fonts. We can click this background image, right? And we can actually observe right here, this is the image they chose. Assets, work, hero. So this is the name of the image. Maybe I can access this image. Right, so this is the image they chose. And it looks like they applied this gray overlay. The text color is white. It could have just as well been black or blue or red or some other color, but they chose white. Now, the second section has a white background, black text. Maybe I don't know what to call these. Let's just call them cards for now. Each of these cards is around 80% or so of the full page width. And this is how I want everyone to dissect this page. I'll link this in the Slack, but just look at, everything that this page does from a very technical perspective. Notice now, if I go to this about page in the top right, the page completely changes. The nav bar now has this yellow background, and it looks like she uses this the CSS class to do that, BG yellow. So if I delete this, I imagine the background's gonna change. Yes. So she's using this BG yellow class to apply that color, right? And I can change the color here using DevTools. It's a lot of fun. Font family, let's just mess up this site a little bit. Impact, okay. Font size 45 rems. Okay, so right, I just broke the site completely. But yeah, I want everyone to sort of get in the mindset of dissecting and really seeing a web page for how it's been put together. And once you start seeing that, you can sort of start to plan your own site. You can start to plan, you know what, I don't want there to be this color behind the nav bar. I prefer it to just be transparent. There's no color behind the nav bar on this page. And maybe you prefer that because it's minimal. Maybe you think that these cards are a little too wide. Maybe you want to make them, let's say, a little thinner. Is that possible? Can we do that here on the fly? With 100, maybe you want to make it, with 50% to make it a little narrower, and maybe you want to do margin auto to center it. Maybe this looks better to you. To the developer who made this site, it didn't. So she chose to make it this style. But maybe you want to do something different, right? Maybe you want this color to be green and the color to be purple. This looks hideous, but if this is what you want, then that's great, and you're totally free to do that. So I want everyone to sort of browse. I'm going to be posting to the the design channel on Slack a lot over the next coming weeks. And for every link I post, if you have the time, just stop by on the page and look at every single page piece by piece, section by section. There's this first section with the pictures, the second section with the portfolio projects that they've worked on, this third section with the footer. Maybe on the contact page, there's the color nav bar again. There's this little section header, section subheader, a form label, some form fields, a submit button, and the poop changed color. So just look at a bunch of different sites and think more than anything else. Do not write code yet, because I guarantee you'll probably create something less than what you're capable of. So please suppress that urge and really plan it from the ground up. Bust out that sketch pad and the pen. Just have fun doodling while you're watching YouTube in the background or something, and just have fun with it. And I promise you that doing it deliberately in this way, it will lead to a more cohesive design, a design that is easier to manage in the future, a design that's well coded, better coded than it would have been, because you had the end in mind. And there's a bunch of other benefits. So with that said, I will post this video and talk about it again more later. And this Saturday I'll try to live stream how I'm building my own site. So you'll hopefully be able to me actually, practicing what I'm preaching right now. But yeah, that's it. So I hope this helps. I know I've been talking for a while, but whatevs. Yeah, let me know. Is there anything else? Yeah, so I'll see you guys next time, and hopefully I'll be able to provide a camera so you're not just staring at me flicking through the pages over and over and over. Oh, and I'm sorry, George, for not responding for so long. 8:03. Oh, it's been 13 minutes. I'm so sorry. But yeah, all right, so that's it. See you next time. Thanks again.